Hello everyone and welcome to AMBIA tutorial series. This video series is intended to introduce you to AMBIA, a powerful tool that enables scientists in the neuroscience field to accurately and quantitatively analyze 2D histological mouse brain images. AMBIA was part of my PhD project and served as the topic for my PhD thesis. And it's entirely developed in Python, and it has a modular design, and it's intended to be really user-friendly so anybody can use it without having programming knowledge. AMBIA is completely open source. You can find the source code on GitHub. I'll put the link below where there is also some explanation on the installation and on the usage. Also, you can visit the website ambiahub.com where we will update regularly, put help for installation, for updates and news, also some documentations. But I've decided to create this video tutorial because video tutorials are always easier. So in the first video and this one, I will introduce AMBIA and show you how to install it step by step. In the next video, I will show you how to use AMBIA, what are the different steps, and how you can proceed efficiently using it. And in the third video, I will show you what are the different parameters you can adjust in the file static switches. This is a really important configuration file where there are a lot of parameters you can adjust. I will show you what each parameter means and how you can adjust them. And I will share some tips and tricks with you, which might come handy if you run into certain problems, which I've seen through practice that might come up. So I will go ahead and show you how to install it on a Windows machine where it was originally developed on and would work best if you use it on a Windows machine. At the moment, I don't have a Windows machine, so I'm using a Windows virtual machine on my system from the AWS. I want to follow the steps that are mentioned on the GitHub page, AMBIA GitHub page, so that you can also easily follow the steps. So the first step is to install Python if you don't already have it. I recommend using this version of Python because this is the version that it was installed with. You can use later versions, but if you don't have Python already, this is the version to go with. So I click on the link and here scroll down and find Windows installer, and usually probably you are on the 64-bit machine. So I download this installer. When it's installed, I run it. It's totally fine to go with this install now, but it's important to check add Python to path. Really make sure to check this checkbox and you can go ahead and install it. So now the setup is done. One way to check if you have Python successfully on your system is to search for CMD and open a command prompt and just type Python. Now, if you have something written here, Python, the version, and then you have these three dots, this means you now have Python on your system and everything works fine. So to exit this mode, type quit and press enter. Okay. Now, what's the next step after installing Python? The next step is to install Git if you don't already have it. I just click on the link. Download the installer, 64-bit version again. Okay, now I just click on the exe file that I've downloaded to install Git. Next, next, next. Just click next for all of them. You don't have to change anything. And finally, click install. So Git installation is also done. Now, the third step is to open command prompt and go to the path you want to install AMBIA in, okay? Let's say in my files, I want to install AMBIA on drive C under a new folder called extra software. And this is where I want to install AMBIA. You can either use the command prompt and the command cd to navigate to that specific folder, or an easier way would be to just close this command prompt, click here where the address bar is, type cmd, click enter, and command prompt will automatically open in that path. So you can see path is drive C folder extra software. Okay, so this is the path we want to install AMBIA in. And the fourth step is to clone AMBIA in that directory. So I just copy this command and paste it in the command prompt and just run it. What this does is it copies all the files and folders that are in this GitHub repository related to AMBIA in the folder that you specified. So now you see this folder AMBIA has appeared with all the files and folders that are loading. We wait for this to finish. Now it's done. There is a mistake here. This 4 came here, so this should be 5, this should be 6. So let's say step 5 is now cd ambia. We type this into our command prompt, which means go to folder ambia. And then the next command is pip install our requirements. I just copy this and paste this again here. And what this command does is to install all the necessary Python packages required for AMBIA to run correctly. All right, this took quite a while, but let's try it out. After all the packages are installed, AMBIA should run without any problems. There are some errors and warnings. Let's ignore those. Okay, I just typed CLS to clear the command prompt. Now the last step is to copy this command, which takes us to this folder. And to run AMBIA, we run this command, python main.py. Sometimes during the installation, after you run python main.py, you might encounter this error, no module named something, and you can manually install this package. If you run into this error, might be you don't get any errors at all. But if you get the error, you can just type pip install and then the name of the package that is mentioned is missing. In our case, it's Ardent, so I just pip install Ardent, and this should solve the issue. After that package is installed, you can just go ahead and run python main.py again. And everything worked out well, and now AMBIA is running. So the installation is complete. You can go ahead and use AMBIA. I will show you how to use AMBIA in the next video. But I just want to show you something. This folder structure is important. In the folder AMBIA, we have a folder called GUI atlases. If you go in there, these are atlases for adult mouse brain. You don't have to do anything. They just load automatically to AMBIA. But these are the color-coded atlases from Allen Institute. We have P56 atlases, we have rat atlases. There is the possibility to switch between adult and P56 and rat atlases. I will show you in the next videos. So as I mentioned, this is the atlases folder, this is the codes folder. This is models where if you want to implement the deep learning functionalities, the models will be copied to this folder. There will be more tutorials coming for these features, but for now, just leave it as it is. And what is really important for you is the processed folder, because this is the folder where all the output of the analysis of AMBIA will be saved. I will show you all this in the next video. So I hope you were successful in installing AMBIA with these steps. If you're on a Mac or a Linux, the steps should not be much different. You should be able to follow the steps. But please note that AMBIA was originally developed in Windows and it's optimized for Windows. Therefore, I recommend you use it on a Windows machine, because the limited time and resources we have now to keep AMBIA going and make further developments on it, we can only do it on Windows. So I would really recommend you only install and use it on a Windows machine. If you run into any problems, you can either comment in the video or open an issue on the GitHub page, or you can go to ambiahub.com. Either download the easy installer package or book an installation session with us, and we will help you with the installation. Okay, so now let's go to the next video and see how to use AMBIA.